welcome back everyone to the game 2 of this best of 3 for the third place match between 100 Weebs and Shadow Keepers. I'm Random Minion Caster, and alongside me still is Spenlo. How are you doing, Spenlo?
Well, I'm ready to see how this game number 2 goes of this best of 3.
Yeah, game 1 there was a little brutal for the side of Shadow Keepers, so we'll have to see how they can do in game 2. And we did say that, you did say that you wanted to see a change in draft from Shadow Keepers, and it looks like we will have a change here. Shadow Keepers is going to be on the blue side for this game, and they're going to start with a Rumble ban, Poppy, Leona, Set, and Misfortune ban. So we really don't want to see Puffin on that Rumble. Again, on the side of 100 Weebs, they're going to keep their bans with the Echo, Talia, and Maokai. It worked for them game 1. They see no reason to change it up. And on terms of picks here, Shadow Keeper's changing up a little bit, going with an Ashe Thresh bot lane, still going with that Shen most likely in the jungle, and then the Akali and Gangplank for their solo lanes. On the side of 100 Weebs, they're throwing it back to week 1 with the Senna Irelia bot lane, Sylas most likely mid, again one of the Puffin specials, Graves potentially in the jungle, and Aatrox in the top lane for schedule. So picks and bans, Spenlo, how do you feel about them this game?
I'm a little conflicted. I've never seen the Irelia and Senna. I know you spoke about it being played week 1, so I can't wait to see the repeat of that. On the way of the doubling down on Shen, I'm a little skeptical. I don't know if that's the best way to go, going unfortunately 0-9 last game. I want to see if there's a mass improvement or at least a better way of team play, because it looked like he was kind of out for himself that whole game.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to be looking at Killer Little Ninja. I keep tripping over his name there, pardon me. To try and make an improvement in terms of execution and gameplay. Because this is a best of 3. It's not the best of 5s we're seeing in the finals here. So their backs are against the wall here for Shadow Keepers. And Ring's opting to switch up his top laner, even though his Teemo was not banned. So hoping to try and get a bit more impact with that GP. And now in terms of lane matchups here, GP versus Aatrox most likely, Sylas versus Akali, and the bot lane, Senna Irelia versus Ashe Thresh. Is there any lane you think is going to be particularly one-sided?
I would honestly that's a hard one to say, because I mean the GP Aatrox can be kind of a even lane if Gangplank doesn't play around the barrels effectively. Up until level 3, I think it'll be maybe Aatrox heavy favored. Mid lane, if it's the Akali versus Sylas, I think once it hits 6, Akali has a very big kill potential, but Sylas can hold his own with, especially Kingslayer giving regen. In the bot lane, I don't even know where to begin with the Irelia Senna, so I honestly think if Ashe Thresh played right, and I mean, we saw some really good hooks with the Thresh last game. If they can get that in conjunction with the Ashe auto slowdown, I think that'll be kind of a good lane to kind of play through, even maybe.
For sure. So on the side of Shadow Keepers, might want to look for that bot lane, the unorthodox, to match the unorthodox nature of 100 Weebs. And we are into game now. Both teams loading onto the Rift, and instead we're in for a little surprise. 100 Weebs, known for a team to switch up their champion pools, very flexible champion pools, and looks like you're gonna flex Graves and Sylas, as Kappa is going to take Sylas into the jungle, and Puffin instead going to reprise his mid lane Graves, which we've seen before, that life steal Graves. So with this switch up, does it change anything for you, Spenlo?
I'm honestly gonna have to change and say that Alpals is gonna probably have a kind of maybe even a tough time against Graves. I mean, having the range advantage, yes, he has the 2 shots and then he has to reload kind of mechanic the same way Jhin does, but I think Graves, especially with the passive resistances he's gonna get, especially being in fights, he can honestly take this and run away with it, I think.
For sure, and likely 100 Weebs knowing that as well, opting to make that change in their champions here. So that definitely should be extremely, extremely interesting. And it's going to be a surprisingly tanky team from the side of 100 Weebs. They didn't really have a true tank before this, sort of the Bruiser Aatrox, but with the Bruiser Graves as well, with the tons of lifesteal, with the healing from Kingslayer and Conqueror on Kappa Crusader, they might certainly have a much tankier frontline for that Senna. And already we are seeing Puffin and Alpaz looking to make those trades in the mid lane already. And as you said, that should favor the Graves. So we will have to see how that turns out. And both junglers here did start bot side, but we do see Lil Ninja hitting straight upwards. Gonna start with both his major buffs there, looking to try and get an advantage, potentially gank that top lane. And Rinks looking like he might need some help, already getting poked down. Kappa Crusader, on the other hand, gonna finish clearing out his bot side before anything happens here.
Yeah, and I mean, that top side, he's hitting sweet spot after sweet spot. Being able to get that damage output is just really strong for the Aatrox.
Yeah, definitely forcing Rinks to play on the backbone. He does have the Grasp with the Undying, very typical on GPs, but also something that Rinks likes to run a lot of champions, but already taken so low there, my goodness.
I mean, oh man, this Aatrox, if he just plays super aggressive like that, I might have to change my statement.
And now in the bot lane, we are seeing the aggression between the two lanes. Nonstop getting poked down a lot, but so is Sharp Otter as well. They managed to land all the CC onto Nonstop, but it looks like he's a little tankier. And they land another route onto Nonstop. They're getting the poke down, but there is a ward in that bush, so they will be able to see Dewey poking out of it there. And meanwhile, Lil Ninja looking for a gank. He opted to gank the mid lane first there, but wasn't able to get much off at all onto Puffin.
Oh my gosh, and I mean, they're just playing the poke game, which is really good right now, just in all of the lanes. I mean,
until now, because Sharp Otter suddenly got hit by a death sentence that wasn't poke anymore. It's an actual commit there, but instead it's going to be Nonstop Rain going down. He flashes in for the play, gets the exhaust on, but will give first blood over to the side of Sharp Otter. Louisville going to return fire and pick Sharp Otter up. So that's a 1-for-1, but Dewey able to make that a 2-for-1 as he picks up a kill there with the last auto, and that's all the summoners blown for the side of Shadowkeepers in the bot lane. Only the cleanse available for Dewey in, for 100 Weaves bot lane. Top lane schedules did manage to pick up the solo kill onto Ring. Sweet spot after sweet spot indeed, but now Lil Ninja looking to try and return fire there. Will flash to pick up the kill. Mid lane Puffin getting the solo kill onto Alpaz, and Kappa roaming up to the top lane will return the favor for kill Lil Ninja. So lots of action across the map, and that was actually a very delayed mixed ace for the side of 100 Weaves at about 4 minutes here.
I thought, like, the way it looked, like maybe they were going to play it a little bit slow, but oh my gosh, they decided just to pull the trigger and run with it. Oh my gosh, this went from being pretty much a no-kill game to 7 kills in less than probably 2 minutes.
Yeah, 100 Weaves definitely going 0 to 100 just really early in the game right now. Have no fear. They won game 1 commandingly, and they're riding that momentum here into game 2. Absolutely dominant here. And the other thing that surprised me, it's literally coordination across the map. That wasn't a 5v5 ace here. That was literally 3 separate fights netting them a pseudo ace. So lots of action. It looks like they're gonna focus down into that bot lane, potentially looking for the dragon maybe, which should be spawning in about 10 seconds. We see a lot of concentration in the bot side of the map, and top side schedule is still absolutely dominating that 1v1.
And I mean, Schedule's just looking like such a mechanically good, gifted player. Like, playing that Aatrox and playing even last game as cleanly as he did, and this Aatrox has just been super clean so far this match. I want to see how far he can take it.
For sure, and he will look to be able to get that isolated matchup. Both teleports have been used by the top laners here, so they will have to sit in the top side. But Dewey getting flayed and followed by the death sentence. The cleanse is a little slow. Will be enough. It will be, as that shroud will stop them from being able to engage him effectively. And instead now Sharp Otter is the one taking the bulk of the damage. Will be able to survive, is tanky enough, but both of them very low here. Have to be careful. And Kappa Crusader has arrived, looking to assist in the bot lane as well. Did not manage to get the gap closer off, and that will allow Louisville and Nonstop Brain to walk their way out to safety instead.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll look at it as a win, honestly, because I mean, they got the pressure off of them in that lane. Yeah,
but he's back. He was just waiting for them to get out, and Louisville gonna be the target here. Can they get him? No, they can't. Instead, they'll pick up Nonstop Brain, who was trailing behind. So they still managed to get a kill at least after forcing that, and that should be a dragon for them if Kappa decides to look up towards it.
I guess they just gotta stop, because I mean, I thought he was just gonna head on out, but apparently he had other plans for them.
Yeah, he didn't need it, but they managed to land the snare, and that's all they needed to pick Louisville under his own turret there. And you said you were looking forward to seeing the Senna Irelia. Well, here's a taste of it. This is how they play it. Absolutely madness in that bot lane. Top lane schedule's getting yet another solo kill. Lil Ninja does arrive, but he's going to be late. Will be able to pick up the revenge kill at least. But it does take him a bit of time instead. And now mid lane, there's still action here. Alpel's being forced to flash from the constant abuse of Puffin's Graves.
Yeah, and I mean, Graves can be extremely impressive, especially once that exhaust comes back up. Alpals can try to 100 to 0 him, but with the exhaust, it's going to make it so infinitely so much harder because I believe it cuts damage by 30 or 40%. So
yeah, will be absolutely massive in denying that, and Dewey in that bot lane lands yet another root. Sharp Otter not in position to follow up, but as long as there's no ward in that bush, Dewey can freely poke there, getting the damage down. And interestingly enough, that bot lane, the Glacial Augment with the Ashe, it's the slowest bot lane here. Whoever gets hit by any auto gets stuck taking a bunch of abuse.
yeah, I mean, it's just going to be that lane of slows, honestly, like.
For sure, and now we do see the Shroud coming out from both Graves and Akali as they're trading here, but as you said, very hard for her to all in with the exhaust available. Lil Ninja gonna use the Stand United into the top lane there onto Rings. I'm not sure it was needed at that time, but it certainly is needed now as we see Rings taking a huge beating, but Lil Ninja is in the wings. Will dissuade schedules from going all in at this point in time, but Rings has to be careful. He is pushed up the river, so will potentially get killed here. Puffin out of mana, still fighting Alpals. The Ignite comes down, he's flashing out, but it might not be enough. The heal from MG Dewey is actually going to miss Puffin. Puffin walked out of it, but he will be able to survive the Ignite, not able to take him down. So Alpals reestablishing some dominance for himself here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty with Akali. You can kind of say she's not going to be able to 100-0, but if you catch someone on the backswing, it's just going to be just a real quick pop and you're gone.
And speaking of quick pops, schedules there just abusing Rings. Rings is 0-3-1, and I keep using the word abuse, but I don't have a better word for it here, as it's every single time Rings tries to lane, he just gets nailed and gets taken down. There is already down about 20 CS, and you know, he just cannot survive the lane. Every time he teleports, he dies. They need to 2v1 that now. Kappa into the mid lane here, looking to get the kill. Will be able to pick up Alpals. That's a 1v1 from the jungler onto Alpals there.
He just said, Alpals, here's how you really use that ulti. Give me that for a second. And just absolutely demolishes him really quickly there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you remember, you were saying that before when we were in the champion select that Sylas versus Akali would be kind of careful there, would be kind of risky, pardon me. But bot lane action happening as Sharp Otter is going to dive that turret. Will get themselves 2 kills into the bot lane. Trade his life over, but that's a 2-for-1. And that's going to be free turret plates to Dewey there, who's left alive. Top lane schedule is just diving the turret with impunity now. He's up a ton of kills, and suddenly the scoreline looking a lot like game 1. 4-13 in favor of 100 Weebs.
It's looking a lot like game 1 in the score, as well as even in the gold. I mean, at this point in the game, I think it was a little later last game, but they're at a almost 6k gold lead right now.
And it's not even 10 minutes yet, so a 6,000 gold lead is something like 50% of a team's gold here. That's how far 100 Weebs is up. They've only lost schedules twice and Sharp Otter twice, and honestly, those were more overextensions than anything else from the side of 100 Weebs. So if you're Shadow Keepers, where do you go from here? Like, how do you even try and come back when your top and bot lane are getting dove?
I mean, honestly, you have to find a way to stop the bleeding, hemorrhaging some way. Whether that means you have to move that bot lane up the top, or... Ooh, sorry, I saw the trade going on mid and I got concerned for a second there.
For sure, the exhaust coming down onto Alpals from Puffin. He's looking for the kill. Can he get it? Collateral damage coming out will be enough to execute Alpals down. And the junglers are going at it as well, but Lil Ninja getting the short end of the stick here. Sharp Otter here to change it to a 2v1. Doesn't care about a fair fight. They'll give that kill over to Sharp Otter instead. And it looks like it's just getting worse and worse for the side of Shadow Keepers. You said they need to stop the hemorrhage, but they are not able to. It's just getting that much worse. Now the death sentence on to Dewey will be good. The play under turret, that's beautiful for the side of 100 Weebs. And the Stand United coming out from Kappa, who just stole it onto Sharp Otter. But Sharp Otter's not the one who needs it. Instead, he'll just get to the bot lane and walk right back out, not wanting any piece of that.
Oh, gosh. I know we were talking about the Sylas, but I mean, for a second there, I just got really confused. I was like, why? They don't have the shed, and I was like, oh wait, they have the Sylas.
Yep, and now just to unconfuse you, Lone Ninja gonna use his so you know exactly what the Shen is. Will be able to keep Nonstop Brain and Louisville alive. Will be able to get Sharp Water instead, who was extremely aggressive diving the turret, but it's gonna be Louisville going down to Kappa, who was waiting in the wings, and mid lane, Puffin gonna be able to pick up LPals once again. Now they've got 3 losing lanes across the board here. Puffin looking like he'll be able to get first turret for his team in the mid lane, but Lone Ninja gonna show up to try and hold it. Bot lane though, the death sentence comes out from Nonstop Brain, but it will mean his death as Kappa gonna say thank you for the free engage there. Pick that up, and now Puffin in the mid lane. Gonna try and get that mid lane turret, but has to be careful. Lil Ninja getting the damage down. He will eat a turret shot. Has to continue dodging out. If he gets taunted, he might go down here. The smoke screen coming out will be enough to dissuade Little Ninja, and it will not be able to get the turret. Top lane, Schedule's diving that turret, and he tanked it up for days there before he finally took rings down. Now it's a race to see which lane will get the first turret for 100 Weaves.
At this point, like, if you look at the gold, it's over a 7k gold lead. We just talked about it being a 6k gold lead and how hard it's going to be to play into that. Not even 3 minutes ago, and now it's expanded to over a 7k gold lead.
It's only gonna get worse here, but Schedule's getting taunted up off the turret. Will be able to still get the kill before going down himself, but that is a 500 gold bounty going over the way of Lil Ninja. He will, however, get the first turret, if not the actual turret killing gold. So looks like the race was won by Schedules in the top lane.
Yeah, and right now, like, it looks like they're trying to set up for some type of fight, but honestly, in my opinion, like, you gotta have the Ashe ulti, especially how far ahead they are.
Yeah, they do manage to eventually get it, but they will trade one over. They lose Nonstop Brain, and Alpals was frankly very, very close to going down there as well. And they will give out the mid lane turret for that. Puffin gonna take his turret down in the mid lane. So Alpals looking for some way to stop the bleeding, and I'm not sure that's such a bad idea really to trade a kill for a turret when your turret's no longer safe. Top lane, Kappa going in on to rings here, but it's bot lane who has to be careful. Louisville gonna have to flash himself to safety. Top lane, the GP ultimate's coming down. 2 GP ultimates as 2 people are using Cannon Barrage. Kappa copying that one, and it's gonna be Schedules picking up the kill as he finally arrives late. And 0-6-1 on rings, 3-3-1 on Lil Ninja, doing much better for himself. 1-4-1 for Alpals, 4-4-2 for Louisville. So definitely the solo lane struggling here for Shadowkeepers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to really get concerned for Shadowkeepers. I mean, they've got to find a way to get these shutdowns, especially out of the Sylas. That's 900 sitting gold on the Sylas if you can get him. That can help get them back into this game, but if they can't get that, if they can't get any picks, I'm afraid that this just might be the beginning of the end for him, especially with Dragon coming back up. You've got another Reptile just spawned on the map. It looks like Sylas is on it right now as we speak.
Yeah, Kappa gonna pick that one up cleanly. His Sylas able to take it down much faster than his Gragas from last game, and that will be Herald over to the side of 100 Weeb. So all those turrets, those are inner turrets now being exposed. Only the bot lane outer turret still standing, and that one ain't healthy either. Rings being forced to flee for his life. The Stand United gonna be used down onto the top lane. They will get the taunt. Schedule's gonna stuck under turret. Will go down. That's a shutdown going over. One of the small ones, 150 gold, but that is still good for the side of Kirill Ninja and Shadowkeepers. Now bot lane, they do get the turret. The death sentence is going to come out onto MG Dewey, but they will not be able to follow up there. It's going to be Puffin instead taking the turret shots. Kappa has arrived behind the turrets, but it looks like Shadowkeeper is going to surrender at 15 minutes.
Oh my, what? I mean, this, I know I said that this was going to be like pretty much over, like it was going to be close to over, but I mean, they still had the ability to pull it off. It's just going to take a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, they were deep in a hole, 10-22, 10k gold lead almost in favor of 100 Weebs. They had a Herald, so that was going to be another turret down, but Shadowkeepers just deciding to end their season here will give third place over to the side of 100 Weebs instead. So Shadowkeepers ends their dark horse run as 4th place here in the playoffs.
I mean, I'm sad to see it happen like that, but I guess they just weren't confident, I guess, in this game. I mean, like I said, like there was a way, like they could have, that comp could have come back. I mean, they scale a little bit later, like on the side of 100 Weebs, like they really do have that oppressive, strong early game, but once you get to like that late, if you can get to late, mid to late game, like I think honestly, Shadowkeepers could have had the stronger comp.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll never know as Shadowkeepers opting to just give up there. Not sure that they could have survived that mid game from the 100 Weebs team composition there, which was already so far ahead, unfortunately. And with that, that does bring a curtain down onto the Coalition League spring split here. The finals are still going on. They are a best of 5, and so far it's been looking like a pretty close game. So you can hop over to the main channel there to take a look. Or if not, that's it here for the third place map. So congratulations to 100 Weebs for getting third place. And yeah, with that, before we end, Spenlo, is there anything you'd like to say to the viewers?
I'm so grateful that everyone that's been here with us has just been here. I hope that we continue this group up till next split even, and hopefully just continue on, maybe grow our community a little more. I'm excited to see where this entire group kind of goes.
For sure. And likewise for myself and everyone else here from Coalition League, thank you guys for tuning in and following us all split long. We'll be more than happy to see you guys in a couple of weeks when we set up our summer split. So have a good couple of weeks and we'll see you guys then.